Countdown to what? Where is everybody? Oh, there you are. Okay, cool. We can do a show. We have to make sure there's at least one pair of eyeballs present from the beginning, if possible, to make this show a reality and so forth. Otherwise, who knows? Nobody's watching. Formless. Yesterday is what we're talking about. I was unaware because I was doing other stuff. I was aware that Ian Carroll went on Joe Rogan. I'm sorry. Well, who knows? Time is immaterial. Good afternoon. F and Base, Trisha H, Chris Christensen, Janet Schultz, S87 Unity Calling, John Demas. I was not late, Unity. I was right on time today. I was prepared. So, yeah, I had to go a little early. I have a friend coming over to stay the weekend, a friend who is a canine. Very nice. Likes me very much. Very nice animal. Very nice being. So I have to be prepared for that. That's supposed to happen between 5 and 6. So I just want to make sure there was enough time to go over all the news and talk about what Jewish people are upset about that happened in the Matrix yesterday. Yes, yesterday. March 5th. Hey, Jacob. Hey, Nuckfugget. Hey, FM. Bodejas. Excellent. Yeah, we'll show you what happened yesterday. Jeremy Boring tweeted about it. So upsetting. Oh my goodness, our spells have faded. We do not understand why. How is it possible? Thanks, Trisha. That's really nice. Wow, cool. $4.99 super chat, bitches. Yeah, get it on. Thanks, Trisha. That's very kind. Gracias. I should put up a goal, huh? We could put up a goal. Then they'd really get mad. Be like, oh my God. Shut it down. I'm not. When I say they, I'm referring to a spirit race. When I say they, let's be very clear from the beginning of this video, because speaking of this subject tends to amount to bad things happening in your life, including financially. So I'm just saying that I'm here to discuss it from a theological perspective and to analyze what people are upset about. Really, not to say anything bad about anybody, because as a matter of fact, I'm a very loving being. And I love everybody. That's how I'm just everybody. And everybody has a shot at redemption. And everybody has great features. If you look hard enough. We do not hate. We have no bias. We're just here to talk about stuff for people who are interested in the truth, if possible, if we can find it. So that's what we're talking about today. Yeah, yesterday, very, if you're talking about theologically, you might find it significant that these three characters in the simulation here, which have linked themselves very clearly to Jesus Christ, that these three figures who have linked themselves to Jesus Christ and are hated, are meant to be hated, are meant to be marginalized and not spoken to, not platformed, deplatformed. Do not platform these people, no matter what. That's the rule, that they've tried to set down. But fortunately for us, we live in a special time, the golden age, or the precipice of, and that means everything gets exposed. We have an age of exposure, which is wonderful for those of us who have been dying to see the truth come out, especially about people who do wrong, or who aren't doing God's work, or have some kind of perverted idea about what the plan is. So we want to talk about all that stuff. And that happened yesterday. So what were the events that happened yesterday that were significant? It was that Theo Vaughn interviewed Candace Owens. Joe Rogan interviewed Ian Carroll. And I'll remember. And Ian Carroll, I haven't pulled up the third person, who was not Nick Fuentes. Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate. Actually, I said they all link themselves to Jesus Christ explicitly. Andrew Tate, I actually don't know that about him. He is a different type of person, at least from birth, I assume. So I'm not sure actually what his allegiances are. So 2 people who I know clearly, at least, have linked themselves with Jesus Christ, and 1 person who I don't know about. So who happens to say things about Jews. So I don't pay much attention to Andrew Tate, but he is a force here. So we'll talk about him. Don't know about him. Okay. Oh, John Demas. X lost contact with the ship. Yeah. Sorry. The rocket catch happens to be happening. Speaking of Lucifer, the rocket catch happens to be happening right now. And someone says that, let's see. Okay, I'll try to share it with you. Let's see what's going on. I'll play my intro. Let's see. Just in case we're going to miss something. Come on, motherfucker. There it is. Okay, there's the rocket stand. Okay, cool. I'll show you. People like to watch rockets. Share screen. So Elon Musk, who allows Jew hate on his platform, has the live stream, open live stream. Okay. And then what about full screen, please? There. Oh, it's already there. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Womp womp. Okay. He caught the rocket. They'll probably have highlights on Twitter, so you can check there. X. Thanks, John Demas. We missed it. I can rewind. Rewind to 44. Let's go. Okay, 44. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, wonderful. So we have the benefit of instant replay. A wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. Sound is on, so.
Ship FTS is saved.
I used to think this was
So we're still getting video down from the ship. You can see we've lost several engines and we've lost attitude control of the vehicle.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it's really spinning. It's crazy. So it fixes itself? That'd be something. I know where you stand, Carrera. I understand your position.
So we'll continue to stick with it.
I've seen the damn things. That's the problem. I had to do some research.
For those of you that just recently joined us, we had a successful liftoff of the 8th test flight of Starship, followed by a successful stage separation. We saw the booster, actually, you can see it just behind us here. The booster had a successful catch back at the tower. Unfortunately, it seems as though we lost the attitude control of the ship. We are standing by at.
I was told to rewind to 44. I was misinstructed. Okay. Get ready. We're going to have a real show today for you folks that have arrived. Okay. Cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant.
I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman.
Down to only 3 engines.
I bring you the news.
Precision flight
the real
into
news.
the tower.
Right now, booster using its 4 hypersonic grid fins to help guide itself through this
Okay,
atmospheric
we're live.
entry back
This is
for
happening
its
right
precision landing at the launch site. Once again, we're going to ignite first the Center 13 engines.
Yeah, it makes a
You should
difference.
see that coming up here momentarily.
Engines in startup.
Oh, let's see if it explodes.
This is going to come down to 3 engines as the booster slows down for its landing. And we just heard the sonic boom.
All right, look, hey.
What an incredible sight to see the
Yeah.
super heavy booster gliding down into the chopstick arms once again.
And there's like,
Stuck the landing.
Wow. That will never get old.
no.
All right. We saw 12.
I saw it once. I was like, oh, that's good. Good job. No, but I did see it in person. It was impressive. The launch and landing of a rocket and a launch. I believe it was a launch of satellites. And I believe I remember seeing the satellites. I posted the video of it. I believe it's available on one of my channels. The video of the launch and landing. It's very beautiful. It does all kinds of designs in the sky and everything. It's really cool. And the satellites and stuff. You see them trail off behind it. If I haven't seen it, other people have seen it. They show up. You can see them like stars. Like people who are looking at stars get pissed off. Okay. So let's talk about this thing that happened yesterday. So like I said, I don't know what Tate was on with whom. Tate's been on with a bunch of people. It's not really that weird. I'll do a search for that. People who talk. Here we go. This is why I said it's a very, very bad day, because that's what Jeremy Boring said, the head of Daily Wire and Jeremy's Razors, former employer of Candace Owen. Yesterday was a terrible day for American Jews. The embrace by so many prominent voices of demented, conspiratorial, anti-Jewish voices is one of the saddest, most alarming events in my lifetime. This way lies madness, and worse than madness. Do not let the times cost you your soul. Audience capture and unchecked tribalism are tools of the devil. Paranoia and revisionism are too, even if they're really out to get you. Heck, even a righteous cause can lead us to evil if we don't guard our hearts in the quest. The wicked often prosper, and the temptation to prosper often tempts us to join them. But only God offers the richness of salvation, and He already became for us the only Jewish scapegoat for our sin and fear. Leave the rest of them alone. So he summons the scapegoat ritual to refer. He must be referring to Jesus Christ, the chosen one, the Son of Man, who took on the sins of the whole world, just like the goat in the ritual, and was killed, allegedly. Allegedly. We can get into the actual story about that later, but in spirit, the spirit was tortured and killed for it. For speaking, so that's his argument, I guess. So anyway, interesting argument. He says paranoia is bad, even if they're out to get you. That seems like a strange thing to say. He basically says, even if he says that, he's like, even if you're right, beware of who you're criticizing, because God will, you have to invoke God. God's chosen people. However, we're all of us, we're actually all Jewish, all of us, according to their rules. So we all share the same special Elohim bloodline that came from Abraham and Shem and Noah. All of us Christians, Jews, and Muslims. So we're all Jewish. So actually, I mean, according to the word, we all came from the same source. So actually, we should be able to criticize where we came from and so forth if they didn't accept the word, which was designed for them when it came. So it's an interesting argument. Invoking Jesus in an argument about Jews who don't like him. So anyway, that's the story. That's the story from Jeremy Boring. Yes, you must not criticize God's people, but that should extend really to all of us. We all come from Shem. So we are all Semites according to their God. So we do not, if we cannot criticize them, then we cannot criticize anyone, really, especially Muslims who also come from the same fucking place. So let's see. Anyway. So, and that's fine, Kat. I do not speak for you. I apologize. Whatever. I use the royal we. And people can decide for themselves after they read the book. So anyway, that's the story. Jeremy Boring enforcing the law for, and he's not Jewish, right? Supposedly. I'm sorry. Supposedly. He doesn't identify that way, right? He identifies as Christian. But Christians, Jews, watch out for one another, I guess. I guess that's the idea, supposedly. But it hasn't actually worked out that way. Let's see. What did... I had Nick Fuentes featured. Nick Fuentes was not one of the people that broke through yesterday into the main, what I guess people are considering kind of mainstream. Nick Fuentes, people are saying, oh, I bet Nick Fuentes will be next. So here's what Nick Fuentes said about it. So here we go.
There are some really exciting developments going on out there in the field. I saw today, all at the same time, Candace Owens appeared on Theo Von talking about Jeffrey Epstein, Israel's use of sexual blackmail to control the United States. I saw Ian Carroll on Joe Rogan talking about Pizzagate and the Kennedy assassination and talking about Israel's Mossad and their involvement with Epstein, among other things. And I saw Andrew Tate on the Nelk boys, and this was maybe the funniest one. Andrew Tate said, in every country, there are certain groups or people you're not allowed to criticize. In Russia, you can't criticize Putin. In the Middle East, you can't criticize Islam. He said, what do you think it is in the United States? And the Nelk boys say, the Dems? The Democrats? The Democrats? Joe Biden? And anyway, and Andrew Tate goes, no, it's the Jews. You can't criticize the Jews. And at the same time, Ye is still going off on Twitter. The rampage continues. And I wake up every day, and we live in a world now where the red pill has gone mainstream. The people are waking up. Everywhere you look, everywhere you turn, it is unavoidable. People are talking about the two biggest problems in the world right now, which are these: white genocide and the influence of Jews. Transnational organized Jewry. Those are the two big problems. The two big problems are that there is a demographic transition that, due to globalization, communication, and transportation technology, the poor brown hordes in the global south are migrating into Europe, the United States, Australia, Canada.
Well, I better stop it. I mean, what the hell? I denounce everything that was just said 100% totally. We're just playing it actually for analysis. So it's just to give his reading on the whole thing. So Nicholas J. Fuentes. So anyway, yeah, I probably can't play that. I really, if I really get worried, I'll just delete videos like this one. But I'm not agreeing with these things. We have to do an analysis of this subject. That's all. We have to do an analysis of this subject just for the. So that's what we're doing. YouTube. That was his analysis of it. Theo Vaughn notices how Jews will always hire other Jews. So I'll show that. That was him with Candace Owens. This is the clip I found. Doesn't sound like anybody actually said anything crazy on those shows, as far as I can tell. That was that outrageous. But it was the fact of people who they say said things that were outrageous on their own shows or somewhere, and that they're being platformed, that anybody's talking to them at all, even if it's about another subject, if it's about, who knows, something else. So here is Theo Vaughn, who's talked about it before too. Here's the clip. This is somebody's Del Gripe at Del Gripe.
Well, I do think, because there's also a lot of great things that I see, like in like a lot of Jewish families, they value education,
Right.
They invest in their children.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like some of the things that they do super well. They work together, right? Like a lot of Jewish guys that I know, they'll connect you with another Jewish guy to work with or something, like they help their group, and that's something I feel like other groups could learn how to do as well, you know? Well, I do think, because there's also.
There you go. That's so people could take their interpretation from that, but certainly you can just look to their teachings. People should just look at their religion and their book, which has become our book for Christians. But people should look at it and see why. That's all. God said they were the best, and it was super, super clear that they should seek people themselves out specifically, and not others who weren't them from the beginning. So Isaac was told, go to Canaan, find a relative, find a relative, basically. Somebody will point the way to a relative. Do not take a Canaanite. Make sure it's one of us, and it was like super, super important. And it was very clear that they were the good ones, the best, meant to rule the earth forever, when the golden age comes, and here we are. So that's what the that's what it says. That's what it says. Which has turned into supremacy. It's turned into supremacy because, well, you could argue because they did not believe that Jesus Christ was Word in flesh. They do not accept it. And so they did not accept the update from their God about like how they're supposed to be and that we're all equal, actually. And that, you know what I mean? So it goes, it's, if that's what is for, forever since the beginning of time, what you understand is that you actually are the best and you're made, your people specifically are made to rule the world, because your bloodline is touched by God and it is uniquely that way, then it can lead to certain kinds of behavior. So people need to analyze where their behavior comes from and be able to, point out how that ideology is being manifest in this realm, So I don't see anything wrong with that, personally. So, and there is anything wrong with it. Sorry. It's not, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's okay. There's nothing wrong for anyone of any religion to point out things you notice. That's why it's funny. The term noticer became a thing, which is very similar to watcher. Noticers notice things that maybe other people don't notice, and their mission here is to warn people. According to Isaiah, the watchers have to warn people, and then their karma is going to be clean as long as they warn somebody. And so we have watchers or noticers with special abilities. So we have to pay attention, and once again, look at what they believe, and it's not a surprise. It's just not a surprise. It came from, the Word, in the beginning. So, I haven't heard anything so anyway, with Theo Von, see the stuff they actually said on these shows. I mean, I'd like them to say what was said that was so bad, basically, because I haven't seen it so far. But I will play you, I'll play you a clip to show the argument about Ian Carroll, for example. So you'll see personal attacks, basically, almost always first, rather than the actual criticism of the words, but criticism of the being, that carries the words. So that's where it usually goes first. We discredit the human, and then discredit, and then everything they've ever said ever is discredited. Must be discredited too. So Jim Hansen says, and I don't think it doesn't seem like I don't know who that is. the name is familiar, but I have no idea it is. Jim Hansen, DC. Not Jewish as far as I can tell. Says, I don't mind Joe Rogan having Ian Carroll on because Sunlight really shows off his anti-Semitic kookitude. Here's the payoff, as he admits. He's new to the game, doesn't know much, and he's tempted to say crazy shit for clicks and cash. Okay, so here is that clip. Oops, I apologize. You hear nothing. Let me do this. Here we go. We'll go back and we will change the screen we're sharing. And here we go.
And time in the game counts for a ton. It counts for
Oh,
so
yeah.
much. And that's my greatest weakness in a lot of ways, among several, is that I'm just really new to the game. And so I'm constantly like catching up on shit. And it's you
Far-
get too certain of yourself, right? You think
It's
you
a-
have the answers and you just keep going.
A little bit of a grift.
Yeah.
With some of these folks. I'm not
Yeah.
saying necessarily him, but it's a little bit of a grift.
Yeah. Well, it's an easy temptation to fall into, especially with
Yeah.
the internet. Like every single day, people in my position, I mean, people in your position too, like we have the ability to just like, I'm going to get views and money if I drop deep down this grift. But a lot of them are
Yes.
not. Like a lot of them, when you look into them, you realize, oh, there's like literally nothing there. And time in the game counts
you
for
go.
a ton. It counts for
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
So that's his criticism of other anti-Semites, is that some of them may be in it for clicks, and he's been tempted by clicks before. So it's possible. But he does say, he does mention an important lesson that he's learning, which is super important, which is humility. Because you will not be allowed to carry the message perfectly, at least, without humility. Certainly, because we don't know anything. You know, we know nothing here except what God revealed to us. So when we become too confident in our beliefs and our connection, you know, with the divine that gives us our information, then sometimes it'll come out the wrong way, basically. So at least he says that, which is a super important lesson. You have to learn that you can't get too confident in yourself, because then you might make mistakes. Yeah, I certainly posted videos that were not adequately researched back when I was starting to make videos and stuff. So there were some videos I posted that were not adequately researched. So actually they were totally incorrect. And that's not something that feels good at all when you do something like that, because, you know, if you want to be correct, if it's important to you to actually, you know, be accurate, it's not a good feeling. So although it can feel good, I remember I made a video about a shooting. I'll tell you my experience. Is there was the Ariana Grande concert, which you might remember, and I was like, oh, this person, I looked at a few pictures. I said, oh, this person who they say is dead looks like this person who's a witness. I was like, they're the same person. I was convinced. And I did some looking at it. I did some Photoshop with the two pictures. I overlaid them and stuff. I was like, yeah, they're the same. They are the same. I made a video about it. Yeah, I got tons of views. It was crazy. Tons of subscribers. I was getting like 1,000 subscribers a day or something insane. Got so many views. And then who was it? Somebody, it was, I think he's dead. What's his name? He was the one, I think he called me out. And he was like, you got to take that video down. That's not true. I was like, I'm getting tons of subscribers. Like, I don't even care. I think I told him that. It's like, dude. And I just made another video, basically. That's what I did. I was like, okay, I was wrong. That's all I did. I made another video. It was like they're not the same, but it was still fake as hell. That was what I said back then. It's not my belief, but that's what I said, and that was allowed to be said on YouTube back in the day. But that's clearly not my belief now. Every violent event that is reported in the news is exactly the way it was reported until they changed until the news changes, and then it was always that way. So that's the dictate set down by the people who built this particular realm here. So, but yeah, that was the mistake I made back in the day. So I had to learn. I posted a video. Yeah, it's easy because you go out there and you see something. Somebody else says it first, usually. In this case, it was me, but somebody else says something, you're like, oh my God. And you're like, I got to make a video about that. And you're like, so anyway, you have to be careful. All right. So anyway, that's somebody saying that what he said there shows that he's a grifter. So you can have your own interpretation. He said there's the temptation. He's like, I understand there's a temptation to be a grifter, but I'm telling you that grift is not sustaining. If you go down that path, even with sincere intentions, if you go down that path, it will never be sustaining. That's all. It always runs out. It's very short term. So it's foolish to chase in the first place. But anyway, there he is. However, the paradigm has changed enough that actually people who talk about this stuff are earning money, and there's nothing anybody seems to be able to do about it. These main players in this particular game are able to benefit financially, which was basically not possible in the past for the kind of work they're doing. So that has changed. And the people out there that are doing God's work, allegedly, they don't need money. So they can be, Nick doesn't need money. Candace certainly doesn't need any money. She married some super wealthy dude. So she's good, So there's nothing, and they believe they're on a mission from God. So who's going to stop them? At least Candace, at least Nick, and others aren't going to stop for anything. They don't need the thing that is supposed to shut them down. They don't need money. They could be cut off today. They'd be fine forever. Kanye West, nothing anybody can do about it. All the spells were attempted. God smiles on Kanye West. Like, how do you explain that from a theological perspective if you're Jewish? Like, how do you explain how God smiles so much on Kanye West if he's the worst thing you've ever seen? Or like if he's, how can it be explained? He has no impulse control. God loves him. Clearly. Because he can't control himself. He does whatever he can't interfere with whatever was programmed into him, at his creation. God loves that because of course he obeys. He has no choice. He can't control himself. And he's mentally ill. According to, our standards. He's mentally ill. He's bipolar. And he has episodes and he doesn't take medication. And somehow he's able to keep his shit together. It's actually unbelievable considering. So that was one clip from me and Carol. I'll play you another clip. Ricky. Yeah, it's very difficult to live that way for most people, especially if you have some kind of mental illness. Not having impulse control is very bad. It's terrible. You're not going to function very well. But, I mean, almost everyone. It's not helpful. But you do it. You do what you're supposed to do for the program without question. So good for you. You are blessed. You have a gift. Sai says, maybe the apparent wealth of these celebrities is not as secure or authentic as we think. They are owned by others. Okay. Yeah, well, if they were controlled by others, then we would want to know exactly who those entities were that were controlling them. However, in the case of Candace Owens, at least she's married and the guy is like an aristocrat, basically. So she's good for life. As far as secure, I can't think of any event that would happen that would get in the way of that for her. Nick, I mean, somebody gave him like $100,000 of Bitcoin. That's probably worth $300,000 now, or $400,000. Although he probably sold it, but he's on Rumble. He makes money. They don't stop him, so he's on Rumble. So, and it seems like that's gonna last. He's one of the most popular people on there, and he makes a ton of dough. So. But if they are controlled by other people, yeah, you definitely want to know who those people are. Seems to me that they stepped away from Candace took herself out of the control, right? Because because she couldn't deal. She was not okay with that, which is good. That's how you should feel. So, all right, Knock. That's a very pleasant message. Thank you, Nuck. Oh, you've got the chakras on there. Been talking about those. Love is the only real wealth. All right. Okay, I'm having deja vu. Let's see, what else should we do? That was all the clips I had lined up of that. Okay, I think we've discussed it in full. I believe we've discussed it in a way that is acceptable. Somebody's sharing a Pizzagate documentary. So it was the same. Yeah, it was the same day that Pizzagate was brought back into the consciousness. Was this day, March? That was March 5th, 2025. So, all right, here we go. Let me show you what else is happening. Sam Bankman-Fried is actually sharing a unit with Diddy, and he says Diddy, the quote is, "He's been kind to me." So that's something. Let's see, what else have we got? I have a Democrat video everybody's thinking is really funny, so I'll play that for you. Okay, I think we're done with the topic that is in the title, and we're just moving on to other stories. Here's a video of Democrats. Okay, I'll show you this. Let's see, I haven't seen it. Funny. I can't even tell you. We live in an upside down world. Oh yeah, stuff about end times. Let's talk about our leader, the golden one, Donald Trump. He is channeling like really violent energy and says he's just gonna let Israel destroy Hamas, annihilate them. He says shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. I used it or I had the like I was like shalom. I was like, oh, I wonder why I said that. And I was like, I looked it up. I was like, what does it mean? It means peace, actually, peace, which is the golden age actually is about peace. The wolf and the lamb and so forth. Peace. So shalom is good. Shalom, we want peace. Peace, please. Peace. And Donald Trump wants to be a peace president. So that's good. That is correct. However, shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. You can choose. Release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it is over for you. Only sick and twisted people keep bodies, and you are sick and twisted. I am sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say. I have just met with your former hostages whose lives you have destroyed. This is your last warning. For the leadership, now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance. Also, to the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead. Make a smart decision. Release the hostages now, or they will be hell to pay later. Donald Trump, President of the United States of America. Very strong words. So there you go. He is ready to unleash absolute hell on earth for these people, these poor people that are just want to be where they're from, and their family and stuff. So I'm gonna fucking kill all of you, or actually, I'm gonna allow Israel to just. I mean, it's really crazy. It is really crazy. Donald Trump. He carries many of the messages that are appropriate for this time. So I'll say that for him. He certainly has. I believe, he has belief. Is the spirit that overtook him in Butler, which gave him faith in himself, basically, because he believed that his life was spared because he has a purpose and he needs and he took that into his heart, and he does not question himself at all. So he operates on instinct, and he's a characteristic of good businessmen is instinct. It's just that they don't question their own strong beliefs. So that is the spirit that has overtaken Donald Trump since Butler. And that is why it is much different this time. His everything is much, much different than when he was president before, when he had many, many doubts. Many doubts about himself, although he did not show it. But it was reflected in his administration, the people he hired, and so forth. He did not believe in himself yet. So he is different this time. And it took a near-death experience, like it does for many, for that to happen to him. So there you go. That's Donald Trump, and that is him doing what comes naturally to him, basically, which is to threaten people with mortality, with death, the same way our Creator did to us. That's how it all started. Do as I say, or you're dead. That's the law from page 1. Do as I say. It's actually quite simple. But do as I say or you die. That's it. From the beginning. So Donald Trump is certainly channeling that energy right now. So there you go. The golden age does not include this behavior. The golden age does not include this behavior. However, he is, like all of us, a perfect part of this program. Thank God. Thank the Creator. Or creators, if you prefer. It's up to you. There are different ways to look at it. So that's Trump with a very severe threat. Let's see what else is good. I have stuff about why we must immediately change because of the advance of technology, mostly related to Elon Musk, is that we have learned how to create new realities. We have learned how to create a complete universe in the mind, the same way we were created, the same way all was created. So that is a dangerous thing if we're not aligned perfectly with the divine. We're not going to handle that's not an appropriate power. So we cannot continue. We cannot continue without changing drastically. We cannot continue. We cannot have a man create our world where we can go, where we can be imprisoned forever, because it manipulates time. I'll show you. We've learned. I showed you the thing about telepathy. Let me show you where they're talking about how this technology works and how it can be used in the future. I'm sure I saved that. Might have been a long time ago and I never played it. It was at some kind of globalist convention. It was a female. Oh, geez. Now I'll have to find it. Oh, here it is. Oh, that wasn't difficult. Here you go. So this is the technology that we are aware is possible, for sure. I'm not saying it's just that it's possible. We know we can do it. It's just a matter of time. That's all. It's just a matter of time. And once you know that time only exists in this dimension as an actual dimension, as an actual thing that you travel from one place to another, then it's already it has been possible forever, and therefore we must live in a simulation right now, which is fine because this is no different than what we perceive as right. It's life, but it's an extremely advanced, just advanced in a way that we don't quite understand yet. Very advanced computer program. It's certainly can be thought of that way. For all intents and purposes, it is no different. So we have the ability to do that. We know already. Whether we're going to do it, whether we are doing it, whether it's up for debate, it's not known in a mainstream sense. But this is very problematic technology for the creator to for humans to have learned. So we have all of the mystery. See, this is where we're at mostly, is that humans have, with their own faculties, communicating with spirit, but with their own faculties, learned too much. So, which is what happened. Which is what happened when the flood happened. It was humans learned too much information, and it wasn't even that bad. The flood, which God was extremely angry at the time, was because the angels came down and revealed things to humans. It was also the giants they created when they bred with women, but it was the sorcery in particular was bad. But the other things were, just teaching people about metals, makeup, sorcery too soon, according to the creator. All life except for a little bit was eliminated. So here we are now, and we have I think you understand where I'm coming from. I'll play this, okay?
Having seen that person commit the crime, even though that person's utterly innocent, that it becomes a planted memory. And so there's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. And in a different context, one of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system as well? So,
wow, that's amazing. Did you want to add anything, Brian?
Having seen that person commit the crime, even though that person's utterly innocent, that it becomes a planted memory. And so there's some really interesting research that we can plant.
Okay. And she doesn't even bring up the thing that I recall, which is that we could imprison people for years in their mind, and it might be a day. That's all. So what she illustrated in another, I'll see if I can find it. Let me see if I can figure out how to search for it. Well, I'll figure out her name. It was at the World Economic Forum that happened. So World Economic Forum. Okay, let me just try this. I'm trying to find it. But yeah, she said we could incarcerate people, which would be possible. We can the perception of time is flexible. We know that. I mean, hopefully we know that from our own experience, that the perception of time and memory itself are not like a fixed thing. We perceive time differently. Like if you're in a car crash, you remember every moment distinctly. Things that must have happened in slow motion. I'm sorry. Things that must have happened very quickly you have a timeline, which is much longer than usual. So if we can learn the mechanics behind that, then we can imprison people in their mind for what seems like years. And it may only be a moment. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a day. It could happen like that, instantaneously. These are the possibilities. So it's problematic. I mean, especially for such a violent, especially since human beings are so violent. So we'll do all kinds of shit. And yeah, Westworld illustrated it too. Leave humans to with no consequences, and they'll just kill everybody, and they'll enjoy it, like in Westworld. So the very worst impulses can be totally explored with this type of technology. Very dangerous. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. I'll take a look at the chat. I have, yeah, good. I started early. I have time. So any questions you have in the chat, I can open up the phone too. Might as well. Sometimes people want to call in. So I'll open up the phone. Oops, that's not the right link. Open up the phone. I'll put the phone number. I'll look at what people say in the thing. Side girl. Does such brainwashing constitute cruel and unusual punishment? That's up to the courts, I guess, once it happens. It's still ways into the future before we can deploy such a thing, but it's possible. We know it's possible. She knows it's possible using technology. So Sai says a few months in solitary. Yeah, when I got arrested and they put me in the suicide room or whatever it is. God, that was an eternity. It really was. It was 24 hours, I guess, but it was truly something. So, but fortunately, I am aware that it's a memory, and memories aren't even real. And then we could talk about the Mandela effect, but we don't have to. But the Mandela effect, for example, illustrates this point for people who experience that phenomenon. So obviously the timeline is not set because things we remember change, and then we have to learn that we remember it wrong. So all right, let's see. Thanks, iGirl. Yeah, jail. That was my worst fear. It's fine. It's not that bad at all, to be honest. It's actually totally fine. It's like free food, free rent, no worries. It's fine. It's really not bad at all, as long as your mind is in the right place. But I feared it intensely. It was what I was most afraid of, was being confined against my will. So I had to face it, obviously, since you must face your worst fear before you die. So I'm good now. I'm good. I've done them all. Stand-up comedy, I thought it was impossible that I would ever do it. The hardest thing on earth. So we did that. So everything, we faced certain death. It's all there. So you spent 3 days in the Baltimore City jail. Well, you made it. So, right? You made it here. So we're good. Yeah, it can be really, it is terrible. It is terrible. All right, let's see what else we have. William says Israel is also very tolerant of homosexuality. Tel Aviv is known for it. We'll have to discuss homosexuality on another show, probably. But I understand. Unity. Thank you. Crypto just crashed. Okay, good. I was thinking about buying some, so maybe I will. Let's see what it is. No, I'm not concerned at all. Oh, it's crashed. It's 86. It was 85 4 days ago, I think. So just buy some. Just buy some. You better if you want to survive in the future. $86. That's fine. The lower it is, the better, to be honest. I'm not selling, so lower is good. Crash more, please. Yeah, there's a Trump crypto conference today. That's interesting. Oh, somebody's calling. Hold on. Here it comes. Oops, that was weird. Gosh. Interference. Call came in. I answered it. Said it was answering, and that disappeared. Okay, no problem. Yeah. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, dude, I think I hung up as you were answering. Sorry, I gave up.
Oh, really?
I heard it. Then I turned the stream back on, and you're like, "Oh, I missed it." And I was like, "Oh, it's the branch, man."
Hey, what's up?
Just wanted to hop on and say hello. Thanks for covering this topic. It's very important.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks for also covering the rocket launch. That was pretty cool. So did they lose contact with that rocket and then it still ended up landing correctly? Is that
No, it looks like I don't know. It looks like when I tuned in live, there's something in space that's like spinning uncontrollably. It looks like it's totally lost attitude. So there's something in
it's
space.
like a separate thing?
The thing that went to space, I guess, is all spun. It's all just it's like in Top Gun when he goes into a flat spin. That's what it looks like. So
wait, the booster is what came back down and got
booster,
caught,
yeah,
right?
the booster came down and got caught.
Oh,
Exactly.
I feel you. Okay.
Yeah.
So the package or shuttle or whatever is what's jettisoning uncontrollably through space. That's is there a person on there? Allegedly?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, because that would have to be terrifying.
Yeah. If there were a person on there, believe me, it would be the topic of this show, and it would be in the news. It would be crazy. So if even if it was alleged, obviously. So no people in there. So it's all good.
Do you know what the mission is? Because I did hear that Trump was maybe going to have Elon try to get those ISS astronauts.
I know, right?
Anything to do with that?
Hold on. Let's see if it can tell me. Starship launching, potentially assisting NASA. Let's see. Oh no, what happened today? Okay, I need to talk to AI or something that understands me. Let me see. Grok uses the Saturn symbol now, I notice. Okay, let's see.
Event Horizon.
Let's see. What was SpaceX mission today? Eighth flight test of Starship.
We need Tom Cruise and the Armageddon song.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you can have a AI rendition of all that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible. No, it's Bruce Willis you're thinking of, and his name was trending because we have an astronaut coming. I'm sorry, an asteroid coming supposedly 2032. You heard that one, right?
Is that Apophis?
I don't know what it's called actually, but supposedly it's coming December 22nd. 2032 is when it arrives, and there's like a 2.7% chance, which is like a lot chance, 2.7%
pretty
chance. 2032. So we must prepare. Speaking of the end of the world. So yeah, that's what they say. And they think it's too late to figure out how to stop it, because just coming up with a plan takes 10 years, they say. Just coming up with a plan takes 10 years. So they had something called DART, which they experimented with, which deflected an asteroid, supposedly. So I'm not sure why it's so difficult, but so anyway,
I do recall didn't they try to catch an asteroid a few years back
with like a big net or something? Space
Not really
net.
sure how, but I seem to recall them maybe trying to mine one. Like there was the potential that they could perhaps get a hold of it somehow. I think if they ever, I don't even understand what this Mars stuff is about. Why? I mean, if indeed the moon landing wasn't fake or it is possible to return, why wouldn't Elon just want to go back to the moon?
Yeah,
Isn't that a lot more attainable as a goal?
Excellent question.
And then imagine all the leaps and bounds SpaceX could achieve by having a base on the moon. I mean, you'd cut down on all these fuel costs too, So like, it's just, I don't know. It seems kind of stupid, like to be so caught up with Mars.
I know. Not sure what it is. I noticed Elon is actually a biblical name. He was a character in the Bible, extremely minor, somebody's child or something. I did notice that. I didn't realize it was a biblical name.
Well, it wasn't. I don't think it was necessarily minor. I think he was related to one of the progenitors of the line.
Let's see.
I think he might have been related to David's family somehow. Maybe I could be wrong about that, but
let's see. Elon,
yeah,
Elon, a Zebulunite judge, a minor judge of Israel. Elon, a Hittite in Genesis. Elon is noted as a Hittite, father of Basemeth, who became one of Esau's wives. Okay, so this Elon is part of the genealogical records of Esau's family, but no significant narrative is attached to him. So it's also a place or tribal reference. Let's see. The name appears in Joshua as part of the territory allotted to the tribe of Dan. So
okay.
There you go.
Well, Dan's one of the fallen tribes that was replaced, I think, by Manasseh.
Yeah, you'd be more familiar with that stuff than me, for sure.
Oh, perhaps not. After all, I was incorrect about Elon.
Okay.
But Dan is also rumored to have started a lot of other cultures. Maybe some of the Nordic cultures, perhaps the Celts. Like, there's a lot of speculation surrounding it. But the one thing that they did have in common with the Israelites is that the Celts, in other words, they all seem to have some type of lore concerning giants, and they fought giants. So as different as they might have been with their spiritual beliefs, where they went after other gods, as it says in the scripture, they still had this. Maybe they had a hatred for giants still, or for sport, perhaps, actually, because they prided themselves on their own strength. Like, we can do this without God. We're going to make our own name, or Shem, as it's known in the Bible. Shem actually means name or fame. I've heard you mention Shem a couple times. But so it's like the house of God, or the house of the Lord, is also Shem. Because, like the Lord would bear a name, just like your house is the house of Stolperman, for instance. It's kind of like that. Yeah, interesting stuff. Anyway, I didn't want to I just wanted to call in because nobody had called in yet.
No, that's good.
I really appreciate the recording spree that you've been on here lately, man. I'm getting spoiled. I really look forward to it.
Oh, good. Yeah, it should be daily. I mean, as long as it's within me. I mean, we'll see. Should be daily though. Should be. So we're good.
Yeah, I'd much rather watch your show than Tim Pool or whoever else.
I don't blame you.
Have the primetime spot for me, man. So
cool.
Yeah, I don't like But yeah, man, keep on keeping on. I'm really proud of you. Keep up the momentum, and hope things are only up and up for you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
are you getting a new pet? I keep
Not
hearing
anytime
you might be
soon.
getting
Not anytime. Not anytime soon. Well, I mean, sorry, not anytime in the next like month or anything. But when I'm, probably, hopefully this year, I'll get a new cat. I have been wanting a cat. There's this place in the Bay Area. It's really cool. It's in this fancy mall, and like the fanciest mall around in Palo Alto. They have this cat shop basically, but it's like you pay $10 and there's all these really nice cats running around, and so you pay $10 to spend like 30 minutes in there with your kid or whatever, and then you can adopt them too. It's kind of cool. It's really cool. All kinds of toys and stuff in there. But
is it called Pussy Galore? I mean, that's the name of the place. That's a clever name, maybe.
No, I would remember if it was, I think. So
Yeah, dude, I'm pro. I really think you need to get a pet.
okay. Well, we have Sumi. Sumi came in the room. I mean, Sumi's still here. Sumi is still our local spirit
dude, you ought
pet.
to get Sumi revealed. It's been a minute since I've seen Sumi. I hear Sumi bark occasionally, but
Yeah. Well, okay.
Proof of
Yeah,
life, man.
she did wander in. Sometimes she does wander in when she feels the spirit. So, but I'll try to be better about displaying Sumi for everybody so they can see. Oh,
But
okay.
seriously though, I saw an influencer on Instagram talking about how like just having an animal or a pet, really helped with their brand or whatever. I was like, there's a good point about that.
With
it's
their
like a
brand.
mascot.
Yeah, right. Well, Doshi is the eternal one, I guess, so he will never, he can't be replaced, but there will be, well, there has been always, well, not since the very beginning. Since the very beginning, there has been an animal associated with the show. And Doshi was certainly very helpful. Yeah. Things took a turn for the worse, certainly, after we lost Doshi. So he was the show's producer.
I feel you, man. Well,
yeah. But I'll get something when it's the right time. Which we'll see.
I was just going to say a parting thought regarding Siamese cats. Do you know what causes the color change on their coat?
No.
It's due to the temperature. So in areas of their body that are exposed to cooler temperatures, like their ears and nose, tips of the tail, paws, those are the areas more likely to be affected by color change. So whether they're a flame tip or chocolate tip or whatever, that's there's like a chemical reaction taking place there that kind of influences that.
How come
pretty cool?
How come human beings like me come out blonde and blue-eyed and then change? What's that about?
Well, that's actually a rare genetic expression because blue eyes and blonde hair are recessive genes. So you have to have more of those genes present when the genes are copulating for the odds of that to be greater. Because in the presence of dominant genes, such as brown eyes and brown hair and so on and so forth, those dominant genes will take over. And so you only have like a 1 in 8 chance or 1 in 4 chance of having like blue eyes or blonde hair. But with eyes, there's actually 8 different alleles affecting the color of your eyes. So you can have a wide variation with eyes. So, but the bluest blue would be like if you just had, I don't know, 6 to 8 alleles for all expressing blue, like the crystal blue eyes or whatever.
I'll have to look. I'm looking around for my photo
album. A
album.
little strange, but for that reason, that's probably how we get hazel and stuff. Is like it's probably half brown and half blue genes or something like that. I interrupted. What was you saying?
Oh, I don't remember. I have no idea. But okay, yeah, no, but it. You're saying it's weird. I heard it's not that. At least I heard it happens. But yeah, I'll have to pull out pictures, verify it, make sure history hasn't changed. But yeah, my father is blue-eyed, and then my mother's father was blue-eyed. So that's why my brother is blue-eyed for life, and I am not, because I got the brown from my mother, the 50% chance. But I started out blue. I'll check it out. I'll verify. We'll confirm.
It's actually similar. My brother's blue-eyed and got it from our mother. I'm brown-eyed and got it from our father, so it's similar to your circumstance.
Mhm.
So that insinuates that both carry the blue-eyed gene. So if you mated with another blue-eyed person, the odds would be much higher for a blue-eyed child. Otherwise, the brown gene is likely to be more dominant. So you'd have to have like 8 to 10 kids to have one blue-eyed kid, perhaps. If you didn't
No,
mate with a blue-eyed
that's not quite
elsewhere.
correct. It would be 1 and 2. It'd be 1 and 2 if you're basically if one of the characters has both had 2 brown-eyed parents, then you're guaranteed to have brown eyes, no matter what.
Pretty much.
But if
Unless there's any-
it's a blue, if you have, well, it depends. If both parents have both genes, then yeah, it's like a 1 in 4 chance then that they have a blue-eyed child. But if one parent is blue-eyed, which means they're both blue, and then the other parent is brown-eyed, but they have the blue gene, that's a 50% chance that they bear a child with blue eyes. So.
And in the cases with David Bowie, for instance, you have, I can't recall what that condition's called, but you can have a blue and a brown eye.
Yeah. My
so.
boss had different colored eyes, like a husky. Yeah, it was you didn't notice. My boss, it was very strange. He had no eyebrows, but people didn't know. You just don't know. You don't think about it until you actually notice. You really don't. Like, I had no idea he didn't have eyebrows.
And then you can't unnotice it, right?
Yeah.
It's like yellow cars or whatever.
Yeah, it was
like,
really weird. I was like, how did I not see? I guess genetically. It's not like he shaved them or anything, I don't think. But it was weird. And then different colored eyes too.
Oh, and pro tip for your cat selection: cats with those eyes are often white cats with those types of eyes are often prone to being deaf. So you just beware of that, unless you want that type of cat for that reason.
Right.
So you get them off the streets or whatever, because white cats are actually bullied by other cats more. Actually, believe it or not. So cats are racist. Believe it or not. Yeah,
cats are what? Racist?
But all animals are.
All of us are.
Because if one animal looks a little different than the other, they'll kill it.
It's a primordial survival. It's a primordial survival instinct from before time. Is that you like with like, and when the animals were created, it was made clear. Like with like, right? They're not supposed to breed with each other. Right. So,
or humans with animals for that matter, which is what preceded the flood, because that's another no-no.
Oh, really?
Apparently, the angels. Well, their semen was really potent, so whatever they mated with produced a hybrid. Apparently, I mean, I guess that's how it worked. So yeah, pretty wild. But anyway, Matt, I don't want to take up any more time in case
that's fine.
On the call.
Okay, no problem. Thanks, Brent.
Farewell. Thanks again.
You're the man. Peace. All right, see ya. I think I can prove it. There's my. Oh. One thing about getting old is really strange. I'm not wearing my glasses as often because things that are close, I suddenly can't see with my glasses on. Clearly, but with my glasses off, I still naturally can read perfectly. Thank God. But recently I just lost the ability, like up close, it just all gets blurry. So anyway, yeah, here we go. We're going to see. Let's see. Since we brought it up. Oh boy. confirm that history hasn't changed. What is this book? Empty? I have picked up an empty book. Too old. Let's see. Okay, that's me. Can't see it. Let's see. Looks like I have brown hair, actually. But it's a false memory. I have to see it close up. All right, and then, then I gotta go. Then we're gonna wrap up the show. Yeah, that must be me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm blonde. I was blonde. Can't see the eye color. Just can't see it. But you can see I was blonde. I'll show you. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. There's my blonde here. That's me, I guess. Pretty funny. But, all right. That's it. We're done. That's it. Thanks, Nuck, who says I'll be charcoal in 30 years. How will I be in 100 years? I want to know. Because I'm expecting to be here that at least that long, at least, if not much, much, much longer. You know, they say when the Maitreya Buddha comes, then lifespans expand to 80,000 years. So get used to it. If you're gonna live in the golden age, then you just have to prepare to live for a very long time, just like they did back in the day. So thanks, everybody. Good to see everybody. And I'll see you at the next one. Pirate says, when did I transition to Jewish? We're all, where did your people come from according to the Bible? Did you come from Ham? Because Ham was cursed. I heard Ham was the father, it was like maybe the Egyptians, but the Ethiopians and stuff. Kali Yuga. Yeah. All right, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. Leave your comments. I'll read them. And thanks for the super chat, Trisha. $5 super chat. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Oh, if you want to support the show in any other way, go to truthclothing.io and buy a shirt. Go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, which actually I need to check. Let's see. That's right here. Let's see if we have anything. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil if you want to support the show anytime. And okay, we're good. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, Cash App is $LTV411. Thanks everybody who's been sending stuff. It's really nice. I have to go through and give hearts to everybody who sent Cash App and stuff. You guys are very, very kind people. Get out of here. For now, that's what it is.